Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are underway here with action tonight. It is Truth, Justice, and the IWA Way being brought to you here in Joliet, Illinois. This is Jim Fannin being joined by play-by-play man, commissioner, ring announcer, Michael Z.
Timekeeper as well, Jim. Thank you very much. We are starting off big-time action here. The Rageaholic, Mark Sterling, and the Human Massacre, Keith Walker. Keith Walker, obviously a powerhouse, a guy who has torn through so many men here in IWA. And then Mark Sterling trying to make a name for himself, going up against top-notch competition. And tonight he will be definitely tested against Keith Walker, who may be a Rageaholic himself. Look at just the brute strength of Keith Walker.
Well, Mark Sterling got a warm reception from the crowd here. He's impressed a few people in his few appearances here in IWA Mid-South. He has quite the name for himself in the Central States area of the United States.
Moving out of the way there, Keith Walker hurting his shoulder on the turnbuckles, and Mark Sterling immediately on the attack against that arm and shoulder. Now, one thing we have to note, though, Jim, Keith Walker actually coming off his first loss in IWA in 2009 against the Necro Butcher last night, so that rage building up even more in the Human Massacre here tonight.
It did take the use of a weapon to beat Keith Walker, and if Mark Sterling, you can almost say that Mark Sterling has nothing to lose here, because if he loses to a world-accomplished wrestler in Keith Walker. But if he wins, it puts his name on the map.
Keith Walker.
But since Keith Walker is as dangerous as he is,
that's true,
and as strong and powerful, he has his, Mark Sterling has his health to lose, he has his life to lose, his ability to walk that could be taken from him if he's a victim of a choke bomb here tonight. So he needs to be very careful that he does not end his career while trying to make a name for himself.
Keith Walker, a man who's competed for Pro Wrestling Noah, training with Harley Race down at WLW. Keith Walker just so strong and dominating, and he's been a force to be reckoned with here in IWA, and the streak seems to continue. Even with one loss on his record this year, Keith Walker still going full throttle ahead, injuring the likes of Michael Elgin. And we were talking about that yesterday during Elgin's match. And surely unfinished business between those two. But tonight, Keith Walker has to, and he is focusing squarely here on Mark Sterling.
Keith Walker reminds me a lot of Scott Norton, Mike Z, another wrestler that built very similarly, very muscular, very powerful. Maybe not as well known in the United States as perhaps the skill level should dictate, but definitely both men well known in Japan for their work over there. Keith Walker, numerous trips to Japan. So the man knows quite a few different techniques in the ring.
Watch out for that big turnaround backbreaker there by Keith Walker. We saw some evasive maneuvers from Mark Sterling earlier, and he's going to have to evade a lot when it comes to Keith Walker, who's he's a big target, and that's always a lot of force coming at you when you're talking about Keith Walker.
Yeah, anytime that Keith Walker gets his hands on you, you're in trouble, because you're not going to overpower him. That is just not going to happen. There is no one in IWA right now that is going to be able to overpower Keith Walker. So Sterling's going to have to find a way to stay away. He's going to have to find a way to hit and stick, as they would say in the boxing world.
Big shots from Keith Walker throughout this matchup, now driving shoulder thrusts into the midsection, looking to build up some momentum. Keith Walker has bad intentions, but catches a big boot there from Mark Sterling, stopping him momentarily. A big back elbow there. And Mark Sterling, very impressive size on this guy as well, but as we said, compared to a man the size of the Human Massacre, he kind of comes in as the underdog in this matchup.
So is he no longer Keith Venom Walker? You were calling him that yesterday, and now he's just the Human Massacre.
He's always been the Human Massacre, and here in IWA, he is some venom that has been injected into our into our company this year, just trying to destroy it from the ground up with allies like Trick Davis and Prince Mustafa Ali.
If someone is out on Collins Street and you see a head rolling past you, that is Mark Sterling. Please return it to 511 North Collins Street at the Hartman Rec Center. Thank you.
The big choke bomb there by Keith Walker proves to be effective for the victory here tonight.
Your winner of the match, the Human Massacre, Keith Walker.
Keith Walker delivering another one, sending out a message to his opponent here tonight and everyone else in that IWA locker room. And another big choke bomb there from Keith Walker. Another dominating performance, even after the bell here, by Keith Walker. And there's the aforementioned Michael Elgin putting a stop to the Human Massacre here tonight by Keith Walker, who is about to do some irreversible damage to Mark Sterling, and the crowd with an ovation for Michael Elgin, fully supporting the Canadian Crazy Horse in his war with Keith Walker.
Promise me that. Promise. Shut your stinking mouth, you retard.
Keith Walker made a statement here tonight, but Michael Elgin clearly making a statement of his own as we start off the show.